Masai Ujiri has pulled off the impossible, as the Raptors were in a very dire spot this time last year. They were losing games, they didn't have their draft pick, and there was no real clear route to bring in young talent around the young core that the Raptors were trying to sort of piece together with Scottie Barnes and different players out here on the roster. However, despite the Raptors being in that tough position, Masai Ujiri found a way to bring in the NBA draft, where it was projected to be one of the worst draft classes of all time. It still has, it probably is living up to its name, but Masai found some absolute gems in that draft who we saw just in the most recent game against the Houston Rockets absolutely blossom, which we'll discuss, but really, also while doing it, didn't have to completely deplete the roster, didn't have to completely tear away, sell off guys like Jakob Poeltl, different players out here on this team, to build up for the future and still have the Raptors in position for this upcoming NBA draft, this upcoming offseason, to add some extremely high upper tier draft picks, which the Raptors haven't really had much to play with in recent years during the entire Masai Ujiri tenure. So we're going to break down how Masai Ujiri just absolutely finessed the NBA, how he essentially did the impossible for the Toronto Raptors, and how yesterday's game against the Houston Rockets was just a clear vision in terms of this whole rebuild that the Toronto Raptors have been putting together. So lots of stuff to discuss in this video, but before we do, we have a very exciting announcement, as this video is brought to you by Rentals.ca, who are proud partners of Team Canada. While they've been supporting our national team defend their home court in international competitions, they've been helping thousands of Canadians find their home court all across the country, whether you're in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, Halifax, Winnipeg, Mississauga, Edmonton, Victoria, St. John's. From coast to coast, Rentals.ca helps you find the perfect place and price for you. Their website's clean, it's extremely easy to use, and you can pinpoint exactly on the map where you're interested in moving, where you're interested in living, and Rentals.ca will help you find the perfect spot. So check out Rentals.ca. The link is in the pinned comment of this video, as well as the description down below. And whatever you're looking for, I mean, whether it's condos, apartments, houses, whatever the heck it is, Rentals.ca has you covered. And I genuinely mean, check them out. They've been supporting this channel for a very, very long time, supporting our national team. They love sports, and most importantly, they love helping you guys find the perfect spot to move. With everything going on in the real estate spot, Rentals.ca has you covered. They have your back to help find the best option. So definitely check them out in the pinned comment, as well as the description down below. But let's dive into the news. I also want to say I apologize. Been slower on uploads lately. Had a little health scare there in the fam, so everything's going well there now. So we should be back to our regular schedule uploading. But the Raptors, they had a pretty wild spot, especially on that mission to capture the flag over the past few days. Because this team, I discussed it a couple weeks ago. Everyone was hyped up, and I've been hyped up this entire season with how the young guys have been playing. All the pieces that Masai Ujiri's put together, in terms of how effective they've been, coming in and just being a developing group in year one of a rebuild. I've been happy. Win, loss, draw, however these games have been going, I've been pretty positive with this Raptors team. But people are saying, oh, the tank is over, the tank is off. A couple weeks ago, we beat the Pacers, we beat the Heat, and said, hey, things are looking good. But I came out here and said, and I'm a Raptors optimist, I'm usually delusional when it comes to this team, but we got to see this next stretch of games. We have a very tough schedule coming up, and we have to see how the Raptors perform over the stretch before we get carried away and trying to throw out the capture the flag, that whole mission. Well, the Toronto Raptors, they kind of showed their position. They showed what's really going on here for the squad, because in the recent stretch of games, since beating the Miami Heat, the Indiana Pacers, they have taken L's to the Pacers, the Thunder, the Mavericks, the Knicks, the Heat, the Bulls, the Nets, and then yesterday against the Rockets. And again, this squad, it's impressive what's going on. The ethical tank, whatever you want to call it, the memes aside, Masai Ujiri's been able to keep together really valuable pieces for this Raptors core and hasn't had to bottom out in terms of bottoming out regarding record. Now, injuries have really helped with that sort of direction, with that push, but the Raptors have played very competitive games. I mean, you can look at these scores. All of these games have been extremely close for the Toronto Raptors, with the exception of that Oklahoma City Thunder loss, and they've just been able to take L's. They have the third worst record in the NBA here now at this point, and they've been able to just really have competitive, entertaining, positive games without adding W's to the win column, affecting their draft position for this upcoming NBA draft. And frankly, that's the perfect way to do it if you are trying to get one of those top level draft picks, because then you see guys, right, that Masai Ujiri's drafted not have wasted seasons where they're playing really bad basketball, developing bad habits, and just taking L's, like building up that bad culture. And one guy that we're really seeing see the positive benefits of this Raptors rebuild, this direction, is Jacobe Walter, who entered the season in a very, very tough position because missed training camp in your rookie year, which is a very tough thing to do with a shoulder injury. He was in out of the lineup, still with some injuries to start this year, and then it's tough, really, as like a later draft, 19th overall in the NBA draft, coming into a team with a lot of players playing your position. It's not knowing what your role is going to be, your rotation, with all the injuries that you've sustained and teammates have sustained. It's a tough spot to really be in. And Jacobe Walter's come out, and I've said it this year. I love the confidence he plays with. He gets the right shots. He looks very fluid out there wherever he is around the basketball court, getting buckets and taking shots and doing these different things. And the shots, they've been hit or miss. He's shooting about 28% from the three-point line over the course of the season. However, last night we saw when the ball's flowing, when he's now in a little bit of rhythm, starting games, Jacobe Walter really had a positive impact, especially in the first half of yesterday's game for the Raptors. He came out, starting this one, 9 of 18 shooting, 6 of 11 from the three-point line, had 27 points, dealt with some foul trouble, had 3 assists, 2 rebounds, but really looked confident shooting that basketball. Right from the jump, he was firing up threes at just a really, really quick rate. He was coming out, let's make this bigger. He was catching it and letting it fly right from the jump, right there. Dillon Brooks sagging off a little bit. He's letting it fly right in their face. Go back to court, the confidence, you see the little sullies happening, but kicking it out and then just reset it, staying locked in, getting those open looks, and teams are closing out on him. They weren't letting him get those open looks, those open shots, but Jacobe Walter caved out, making some cuts. That was pretty open there. Şengün needs to get out there, close out on a man that's been cooking your team, from behind the arc, from behind the three-point line, but he's driving, he's finishing in different areas, looking confident around the basket. A guy like Gary Trent Jr. really struggled with those types of finishes. You see here, I don't want to bash on Gary Trent Jr. now, but you wouldn't be seeing a lot of Jacobe Walter minutes if he ended up being back with the squad. But he was catching those shots from the start to finish of the game, and finishing around the rim, being confident at all different spots. So you love seeing that from a rookie that's coming out there against one of the league's better teams, the third seed in the Western Conference, and Jacobe Walter can really come out and be a positive impact out there for this team. He's been starting a ton of these games. He's been doing a lot of stuff, but man, just want to give some credit, give some praise to Jacobe Walter and the impact that he's had out there, whether the shots are going in or not, him being able to come out and be a confident scorer for this Toronto Raptors team and in his rookie season. So he looked really, really solid for this squad, but it wasn't just him. Jamal Shead off the bench in this one had played 33 minutes, no Davion Mitchell, dealing with an injury. They said he was going to return, but then Darko Rajaković, I guess, didn't ended up playing him. I'm not sure if it's just injury related or whatever, but Jamal Shead got 33 minutes in last night's game, and he really showed out as well. 11 points, 10 assists, 2 steals, really got into guys like Fred VanVleet, got into the other guards that are out there on the Houston Rockets, shown what he can do on the defensive end. And Jamal Shead, right, he is an impact player. He can finish around the rim. He's a scorer in terms of the paint, but his three-point shot's something that's impressed me. Now, you're seeing the cut in the high IQ basketball from Jamal Shead. He likes to get to that right hand in that spot around the basket, take contact, and let it fly, but Shead's been knocking down some threes lately as well, which is a nice positive. You can see, this drive here, finishing around the basket, making some good reads, but Shead being able to knock down threes at a very, very solid clip, a solid rate, is going to be a huge positive, huge key piece in terms of his development for this Raptors squad. So Shead, Jacobe Walter were the two guys that really shined for this Raptors team in yesterday's game. Jamison Battle was also very, very solid in this one as well. Came off and knocked down a few threes. Knocked down 3 threes in this game, had 11 points. Chris Boucher off the bench, 15 points. A good Chris Boucher game in this one. And, Ochai Agbaji continues to be impressive over the course of this season. We've raved about Ochai Agbaji's development, everything that's gone on. But one of the concerning things about this game is Scottie Barnes. I'm not saying in any stretch to be like, hey, we got to be worried about Scottie Barnes' development. We got to be worried about this. The one thing I'm worried about with Scottie Barnes right now is he rushing to come back, to make a push for All-Star or something this season? Because Scottie Barnes, he was supposed to be out for 3-4 weeks. I know people are memeing on Shams of ESPN here now at this point because he's reporting some things. He's got some misses as of late, and said Scottie Barnes will be out for a month. Scottie Barnes returns within a week, and we're all looking at it at just a tough game. He was settling for a lot of threes. He was chucking a lot of shots. So if he's injured, don't risk Scottie Barnes' future, his health, everything that's going on for a season. We are actively losing games. Like, we are actively taking L's, not getting some W's and all that type of stuff. So I mean, let's lock in. Let's make sure Scottie Barnes doesn't get injured. And I saw a lot of people roasting, Fred VanVleet and Scottie Barnes having a mid-off, having a roast session of each other because Fred VanVleet was really bad in this game as well. 2 points, had a few nice dimes, ran the offense for Houston pretty well, but not a great Fred VanVleet game, not a great Scottie Barnes game, and obviously the young guys, the old guys had a little bit of beef on the Raptors, so it was maybe people are trying too hard, trying to do different things, but I guess the Rockets got the upper hand in this one. But I felt very, very good about where the Toronto Raptors are at, and frankly, Masai Ujiri just continues to impress me with his scouting ability, his ability to bring in young guys and let them have an impact for this Raptors group. You'll love to see it. But the Raptors, and again, most of this game were leading. They for the first half, third quarter, things got a little bit closer and the Rockets kind of took it away at the end. But the Raptors are being competitive. They're not getting smoked in any of these games, and they brought it back, right? Gradey Dick was hitting some clutch shots. Jacobe was hitting some clutch shots. Jameson Battle had the confidence to let fly that down there at the end as well. So you'll love to see it. We'll see how the Raptors end up continue to play. But you guys best thing as far, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.